What's up, y'all? So this is a training on how to have tough conversations, courageous conversations, clearing conversations. In short, if you're watching this, there's probably someone that has already come to mind. I made this post the other day on Instagram. Most people spend their lives avoiding an uncomfortable conversation. And so this isn't a training to give you a technique, because if you're looking for that, what you're looking for is to manipulate someone. You're looking to get a certain outcome, a certain result. That's manipulation. This will point you to the truth, which you have to find. And this is simply a way to communicate what you found in the most truthful, self-responsible way that usually allows defenses to come down, mainly because your defenses are already down because the truth doesn't need defending. So this isn't a substitution for inner work. This isn't like I'm going to, wrap up a piece of shit in a box and just make it look good and hope that that person likes me now, right? You still have to do the work. This is just a structure to point you to a truthful, heartfelt, genuine, authentic, open way of communicating. So I made this acronym. Esito, E-S-E-T-O, esito. Number one, experience. So we're hurt in relationship, we heal in relationship. So find a moment where something happened that shocked you, that hurt you, where you felt betrayed. Maybe someone backstabbed you, talked bad about you, was rude to you, yelled at you, projected on you, ignored you. Right? You could probably already find something. It could be as simple as, oh, that person was just annoying the way they were tapping. Or it could be a situation of abuse, verbal, physical, the whole range. This is open for the whole range, right? This is, I would say, a more in-depth and transformative way of making amends. And in my opinion, this is the number one spiritual practice, because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you reveal yourself to others. And it's within the 3 layers of truth telling. I first have to tell the truth to myself about myself and what I'm thinking and believing about myself and others. Number 2, I reveal that to other people. Number 3, I reveal it to the world. These are the 3 levels of freedom. And this is going to be, if you if you really commit to that, you're devoted to that, this will be one of your primary tools. At this point in my life, I've had to have had over 60 at least reporting conversations, and they've completely changed my life. It also, I'll just say this again, it rewires your nervous system, because you get to be the opposite of what you were in a traumatic or shocking situation. You get to be the opposite with the same person, and I'll talk about when it's appropriate and when it's not. And you're telling your body, hey, it's now safe for me to be around this person. And if your body registers it as not safe and it stays unintegrated, then whatever reminds you of that person is going to put you in defense. It's going to bring your walls up. And over time, that's what creates chronic disease. So we resolve this with one individual. We resolve it with every individual, because that same issue that we experienced in 8th grade, the rejection, that person is just going to keep wearing different clothes until we get the lesson. That's just how it works. What I put out is what I get back. So we start with identifying the experience and be specific. So I'll use a real life example for me. This is just funny because I went way back in time. I thought about one of my first girlfriends. Her name was Lauren Ward. And she broke up with me over a note. I'm just going to use this as an example. I don't feel the need to report to her. It was 6th grade. And in that moment, it's like someone handed me the letter. Hey, I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. And I remember sitting there alone on the blacktop, and I was so sad. So let's say I called her up and I wanted to report to her, right? I'd start, and again, I'm presupposing that you've already resolved the conflict associated with the conversation internally. Because this isn't always, sometimes it will happen, but it's not intended to be used to resolve your conflict. Reporting happens when you are in resolution of a conflict. And now you're in extending love, truth. You're in the extending phase, not in the getting or the avoiding. It's, okay, I'm complete with this event. It's another word for forgiveness. And now I'm going to go report on the truth. And the reason we report on the truth is so often in those events, we believe our instantaneous reactionary, almost, what's the word I'm looking for? Just automatic assumption or assumed meaning that our brain was pre-programmed to give to that experience. And because we do that, we end up pulling our love away, judging them, talking shit about them, projecting on them, rejecting them, denying a certain part of ourselves, attacking them in our mind, making them the enemy. We will in some way, if we pull back love, have some version of us that wants to attack and harm them. And again, I want to make this clear. We never hurt someone directly. We only hurt each other indirectly. And so if someone calls me a piece of shit, it only hurts me if I believe it. So, and I remember one of my mentors once said, you're 100% responsible for your 50% of the relationship. So when I believe these thoughts in rapid fire and I start attacking this person, that's my 50%, I'm going back to reclaim and reconcile my 50% that contributed to the pain. And I leave their task, which is their 50%, up to them. It's not my business. And this is where I'm just owning the potential consequences of my action that I may have indirectly caused in the other person. Why am I doing that? Because I want the same thing for me, number one. And number two, it's humility. It's a practice in humility and consideration and empathy, which is what we are naturally when we're not in a trauma response. So let's get back to the reporting. Lauren Ward hands me the note. So let's say I'd call her on the phone. Hey, Lauren, do you have a moment to talk? Sure. Do you remember? So I always start with recalling what happened. This is objective. This is not about opinions, this part. Do you remember what happened in 6th grade when you broke up with me? You gave a note to, I think it was another girl named Stella, and she gave me the note. And you broke up with me that way. Yeah, I remember that. Well, in that moment, so that's the experience. That's what happened. Now for you, it might be, remember when you said this? Remember when you did this? Right? So you're naming the experience, just objectively what happened. No opinions here, no stories. So this is what happened. And then next, remember my own acronym here, story. What is the story I'm telling about it in that moment? And again, this is assuming you've already done this work and you're clear. And maybe this is helping you do the work now. My story in that moment, what I made that mean was that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved, and that you are rejecting me. Whatever's true for you. So experience, and now this is what I made it mean. And the next part, I think, is the effect. Experience, story, effect. And now this is where I'm considering them, right? So as I believe that thought, and this is where you ask the question, when I believe those thoughts in that moment, who did I become in that moment towards her? And maybe even after that towards her, who did I become? Resentful, jealous. I wasn't totally myself around her. I attacked her in my head. I talked crap about her to my friends, right? So let's say I just share all those things. When I believe those thoughts, I pulled away from you. I attacked you. In my mind, I made you into a perpetrator. I talked crap about you to my friends. I wasn't myself around you. I would exaggerate and lie. And I'm sorry for any kind of effect that might have had on you, if it did. So we're naming the effect and we're apologizing. And that's it. And again, apologizing isn't an admission of guilt. It's not, I'm so bad. It's a concession. It's a gesture. The spiritual community, don't say sorry because you're not responsible. That's avoiding intimacy. That's avoiding feeling, well, I don't want to say sorry because I don't want to feel guilty. Well, that's probably because you do feel guilty. So it's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for believing that and pulling away and doing what I did. So I'm naming, so I have cause, so I have experience. Cause is the story of my behavior. Effect is the consequences of my behavior. I'm owning that and I'm apologizing. I'm sorry. And then the next part is the truth. Now I see. ESET. Esito. It's not a good acronym. Esito. Anyway, esito. effect, and then we have the truth of the situation. I now see that none of those stories are true, that you didn't reject me, that I wasn't not enough, that it's not a fact that in that moment, or the reason that that happened is because I'm just not a lovable person. And now I see that. And then open. O is open, esito, open. And this is a question, or it can be a statement as well, if it's not appropriate. But the question could be like, if let's say I'm still friends with this person, I say, how can I be a better friend to you? If it's your partner, how could I be a better husband? How could I be a better wife? How could I be a better son, daughter, mother, father? It's not necessarily about the question. It's about you just being open to their insight and feedback. Why? Because number one, it feels good to be open, because remember, what's lacking in any situation isn't what you're not getting. It's what you're not giving. So many times we go, God, I just want them to be more open to me. And right in that moment, we're not open to them. So we open for the sake of opening. It's self-fulfilling. It's self-nourishing. It's a complete action. It doesn't require anything else. When you're truly just open, you do it for you. Do you have any feedback? Do you have any advice for me? I'm ready to listen now. All right. Or help me understand your experience. I really want to listen. Or I just want to thank you for this experience because it's helped me learn so much. And, if there's anything you want to share, I'm here listening. That could be your opening statement. Now, how to know when you're ready and when it's appropriate to report. Obviously, if you have a restraining order against someone, don't go report to them. If it could be dangerous, if it could lead to danger, don't do it. This is my philosophy. Take it as your own, or, decide your own. My philosophy is, if they're alive and I have the opportunity to report, I'm going to do it. As soon as my dad got cancer, and he is doing so good, he's healing, and it's been a total awakening for him. And through GNM, cancer's not even a big deal. Everyone has cancer off and on. So anyway, but that initially it shook me. It was like he could die tomorrow. So I knew I had to say everything I needed to say to my dad. I needed to acknowledge the times that he scared the living shit out of me with his anger, and how I retracted, pulled away, and made him wrong or bad, and avoided intimacy with him out of fear. I needed to tell him that. I needed to name the things that I hid from him, the things that I was ashamed of, that I didn't want him to know about me. I emptied with my dad. I cried for 30 to 40 minutes. Straight, nonstop. And so why am I saying this? Because if you have the chance, don't leave any stone unturned. Think of every single person in your life. Go back to 5th grade. Obviously with Lauren Ward, I don't feel like it's needed because I actually didn't talk shit about her back then. And I really wasn't mean to her, but I was just saying those things. Now, if I did some stuff that I'm not proud of, then I probably would have that reporting conversation. And I could genuinely say at the time of this call, there's only one person that I want to do a reporting conversation with. And we're in a no contact zone right now, so I'm going to honor that. But when you start to, it's like, okay, life is short. These people cannot be here tomorrow. Say what you need to say. Own your side. Make it right. Open to them. Open your heart to them. I guarantee you, if you do that, with every relationship that feels scary to do it with, you'll resolve your health issues, stuff about money, stuff about in your current relationships. Everything in your life will resolve. Now, of course, there's still going to be challenges, but the ongoing chronic conflicts will resolve because this is where they started. So again, you don't need them to complete the healing, but it is so powerful because you're going back to the source of the pain. Sometimes more pain comes up, and you're opening your heart to this person. And that's the healing, not them opening their heart to you. That's their business. You're ready to report when you don't need them to open their heart in return. You don't have any expectations. You're not coming in with the need for them to accept your report or not. You have no insistence. It needs to go a certain way, or they need to say anything in return to you. You're okay with them going, well, yeah, you did do that. You did it because if you're still defensive, you got more work. So it's a measurement. It's a mirror. Who I'm being towards them is a reflection of my happiness, my freedom, my fulfillment, my connection to God, all of it. This is why in A Course in Miracles it says, every time you meet a brother, you enter heaven or hell. You have an opportunity to enter heaven or hell. Not based on who they are being towards you, but who you are being towards them. This resolves addictions. You regain self-respect, self-trust, dignity. So make this your spiritual practice. Anytime you have an experience where, boom, something happened, you were shocked, defenses went up, and then you denied, attacked, rejected, projected, whatever it was, you don't have to do it in the moment, although that's the best time to do it. But sometimes when you're new to this, like, okay, I need to go process that. And now I'm going to return and report. And I'm going to report on my 50% of the relationship and own it completely. When I've reported from the heart, it's been 100% success rate. Why? Because it's not based on them. It's 100% success rate because I'm in my heart. That's what makes it a success. And you fear humans less. You fear rejection. You stop fearing rejection and abandonment and people judging you, because when they judge you and it reveals a judgment you've been holding and you process it and you bring it back and realize what hurt you there wasn't what they said to you, it's what you then withheld from them and from yourself, you report the truth. This is why saints don't need to wear armor. They're wide open. They're like, look, here I am. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. So I hope you got something out of this conversation. If you need support reporting or processing on your reporting, you can reach out to me. This is what ISI, Integrated Somatic Inquiry, is about, getting to the root of why I can't let this go, why I have to hold on, why they are the source of my suffering, why I have to shame myself, whatever is in the way. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you